Hey, I'm here with Simon White, who you might remember from our Lunch and Learn session earlier this year when he was talking about how to write sales proposals that really deliver results. And we had proof of the pudding. We were just talking about that, Simon, weren't we? That we had proof of the pudding that one of our VIP members took what you taught us, applied it, and got results within the same week,
Yeah,
which is so
yeah,
it's just fantastic to know that. But we've been talking on and off since then about going beyond just that one particular session and seeing how we can support our community with their sales process, because so many trainers and facilitators and coaches, they're brilliant at what they do, and that is training and coaching and facilitating. What they're not great at or don't enjoy is the sales process. But luckily, that's what you excel at and you enjoy it. So you've offered very kindly to run a sales mastermind group, which is designed specifically for people in our industry. Now, I've got a fairly good idea as to what a mastermind group is, but do you want to just give us in a nutshell what that is all about?
absolutely. So once a month, we would come together as a small group on a Monday afternoon, and we will work on the challenges and the business of each person in that group. So, for example, we'll take it in turns and sort of have around 20 minutes, half an hour to talk about their business, what's going well, what's not going well. There'll be peer support. It's not just about me, but I'll be giving my thoughts. And there'll be tailored training as well, sales training, business development, marketing training, uh, as that responds to what people require in that group on that day. I run another group myself that I've done for over a year. Incredible results. I've got one client who saw a 25% increase in conversion rates after just 3 sessions with me. It's
That's
incredible
pretty good.
growth. The reason I really want to do this is I meet so many trainers and facilitators who are incredibly good at what they do. They are world class, but they frustratingly don't see the results that they deserve because they're very good at their job, but the sales and marketing piece doesn't come naturally, or it's not something that excites them. So
It
often
makes them
they
feel uncomfortable a lot of the time. They find it quite icky.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sales is a dirty word. But what is sales? It's about good communication. It's about helping people. And often these trainers and facilitators can miss out on work to people who aren't as good as them,
Yeah,
but were better at selling.
yeah.
So when we talk about selling, it's not the gift of the gab. We're not selling used cars. I mean, I've had my own training business now for 11 years, so I understand what it's like for everybody. Um, it's about how do we write proposals? How do we get those initial inquiries? What words do we use? How do we structure things? It's all of that and a lot more.
Mm,
But it's not a training program. It's about us discussing what makes sense to that person in that group on that
mm,
day. And we're going to have 6 people in the group. So it's a small number. It's confidential. Nothing leaves the space. Nothing's recorded. And I have a really lovely structure of how I run these sessions as well. So everyone will have that support, that guidance, and that accountability that sometimes we lack when we work for ourselves.
yeah. I mean, the great thing is obviously in our VIP community, everyone knows each other already. So we've already got that psychological safety, which means we can hit the ground running in that respect. But it's interesting what you're saying. It's not about training. It's about accountability, isn't it? Because I know that so many of us, and I include myself in this, we have all the best intentions and we kind of know what to do. But then you get busy. You're traveling, you're training, you're coaching, and before
Yeah,
you know it, it's been 3 weeks since you last made contact with somebody.
yeah,
Where so it slips, I guess, when people are just busy out there doing their job.
yeah, absolutely. And it's about having that clarity and that focus on what is your goal
Mm,
for the year, what's your goals for that quarter, and what actions are you going to take in order to reach them.
mm,
And then when we meet in the next session, it's, well, when we spoke last time, these were your actions. Talk us through those.
Yeah.
So this is not going to appeal to everybody. You've got to want to grow your business.
Yeah.
You're happy what you're doing, that's brilliant, but this isn't for them.
Yeah.
It's for people who go, you know what, I want to earn even more money. I want more clients. I want bigger clients. I want more exciting projects. I want to grow. This is exactly what this is for.
Yeah.
You've got to want that business growth. And we call it the sales mastermind, but it's a business growth mastermind at the
Yeah.
end of the day. It's about
Yeah. Yeah.
growing. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I say, once you actually, we know as trainers as well, whatever you focus on tends to be where you see the results.
Yeah.
So it is having that focus, and like you said, it's you're going to guide the people in this group, but you're not their boss. You're not going to tell them what to do. It's still their business, their
Yeah.
decision. So there is some investment. I mean, obviously, we're not doing this for free, but equally, when you think about the average training contract that somebody will win, I mean, we're probably looking at anything from sort of £2,000 to £10,000 as a typical contract. I mean, and we talk, it's going to be a bit of a no-brainer, really, because all we need is one of those contracts to drop, and it's more than paid for itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it is absolutely that focus and that accountability. All of my clients that I coach, whether it's part of a mastermind or it's on a one-to-one, they always say it's that accountability.
Yeah,
It's knowing that they're going to join me on Zoom or I'm going to their office and they, oh my goodness, I promised to do these actions. And like you say, I'm not their boss. If they choose not to do them, that's absolutely fine. I'm there to guide, but it's not just about me. There will be so much experience in that mastermind. Everyone will go, well, I had that problem. This is what I did, and then they get so much great advice, and then they can then take what they want forward from that session.
yeah. And it's very much how our drop-ins work, really. We just harness the experience and the wisdom in the room.
Yeah,
And certainly when I was involved in something very similar a few years ago, I picked just as much up from my fellow cohort members as I did from the person who was
yeah,
leading it, because, there is so much wisdom in the group, and all our businesses are slightly different. And sometimes it's easier, isn't it, to seek solutions for someone else's business than it is for your own, because you're not as close to it.
absolutely, absolutely. And we're all at a different stage of that journey.
Mm.
There will be people in that group who have been trainers for absolute decades. There'll be people who are new. There'll be people who are maybe even they're in similar areas, or somebody's doing loads of overseas work and someone's
Yeah.
trying to break into overseas or what, and there's so much will come out of it, and they will get some focused training around it as well.
Yeah. So just talk us very briefly, what would a typical session look like?
Yeah. So for this session, it's going to be a Monday afternoon, and we're going to run a taster session in September with the first session starting in October.
Yep.
So once a month on a Monday afternoon, we get together on Zoom, and
Yep.
it'll be me plus six people
Yep.
in the membership. We'll take it in turns. So one person will start. If they go first in that first session, they'll go last in the next session. So we'll
Yep.
work that out. But they go first, and I'll say, right, talk us about your business. What's going on? What's going well? And they will naturally, organically talk and share their frustrations, what's going well. And I will say, where do you want to be by the end of the year? What are you going to do to get there? What needs to change? What needs to happen? What's your biggest frustration around sales or whatever? And each conversation will be different, and they'll share, and hopefully they'll feel quite comfortable sharing, and we'll talk it through, and then maybe have 20 minutes, half an hour, depends on how many are in the group, to discuss it. And oh my God, that's an interesting point. Let me share something with you. There might be a learning opportunity there where I can share something. So we'll do that. We'll take a few breaks during the session. And at the end, either the last 45 minutes, half an hour, I will do a focused training session on something that has come out of the sessions, or I'll weave it in depending
Mm.
on. And at the end of the session, I will ask everybody to email me what are their actions that they're going to commit to between then and the next session. And then
Yeah.
when the next session starts, the person who goes first, right, let's review
What did
your
we do?
actions from last time.
Yeah.
And it
And that
gets
allows
that
you to track your
accountability.
progress, doesn't it, as well, which is great. And and we all know if you hit obstacles, and sometimes they can't be avoided.
Yeah.
And we understand it and we work through them and we incorporate it next time. But sometimes it is that. So it's a whole mindset thing, isn't it, as much as anything?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've done I've been sales coaching for a long time now, and coaching company directors and salespeople and non-salespeople and accountants and all sorts of people. And when whether it's on Zoom or in person, they get their notebook and they're writing notes as they go through, and I can see that they've ticked off their actions the day before. But if I hadn't gone there or we hadn't had that session, they wouldn't have done those actions.
Yeah,
And some of those actions might be small. It might be to speak to their website designer about adding on a new thing, or
yeah,
it might be that they need to follow up on that proposal, or it might mean they need to download that free edition of HubSpot or something so they can track all their contacts. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be big actions,
no,
but it's about moving forward.
I
So
think that's,
yeah. So I was just
yeah.
going to say, this isn't for everybody. You've got to have that growth mindset. You've got to be wanting to develop and build your business. But if
Mm.
you tick both of those boxes, then this might be something for you. And therefore, come to the September taster session and see how you get on.
Fantastic. And just we were talking before as well about the sort of the level of commitment. It's a little bit VIP membership. It's like that in that it's not a pay as you go thing. You can't dip in and out of it, but we recognise that you're a grown up, and if you decide it's not for you, then that's okay. You can leave. But we do think you need to give it 3 months really,
Yeah.
to have any realistic expectations, I suppose, of seeing genuine results, because the success doesn't happen overnight unless you're very, very lucky.
Absolutely, absolutely. It does. It takes time. It
Mm.
really it does take time. But as we know from as you were saying about the session we ran together a few months back, one of the delegates on that session had results that week, as a direct result. And within a few sessions, you'll start to have those wins and you'll start to do it. But the longer you're in, the more success you're going to have.
And it's about developing great habits as well, isn't it? So even if someone does decide after 6 months that that they want to focus elsewhere, they will have developed some really good habits that will stay with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I celebrated last week my 28th year in sales. And some of those good habits that I picked up in my very early 20s, I'm still doing now. And I picked up a few bad habits I've had to, knock on the head since. But yeah, they stick with you. And I share so many war stories, so many anecdotes about how and lessons
And it's really practical as well, and that's why we've stayed in touch since you did the lunch and learn. It's all very practical. I've come across so many sales trainers who are all me, which you talk about. You can do this, you can try that. Let's look at it from the customer's perspective. So, which means it's going to be easier to apply. And as a trainer, that for me is everything. It's how do we actually put this into practice? Because it's all very well coming away from somewhere going, wow, that was an amazing story. But if it's completely irrelevant and isn't going to help me,
yeah.
that's all it is. It's not particularly helpful. So at the moment, we haven't set dates, have we?
No.
But we will set the date for the taster, or maybe give a choice of two.
Yeah.
So in terms of next steps, we just want to know if you're interested. If you're interested, get in touch with me or Simon, and we'll let you know the dates. We'll let you know the cost, because again, we haven't quite finalised that. And then we'll take it from there. Really, it's a first come first serve basis, and fingers crossed we make two cohorts.
Yeah. That'd be the ideal. Yeah. Absolutely. No, I look forward to seeing everybody on the other side. And yeah, having that taster session, I think everyone's going to get so much just out of that. And then if they join, then it's going to be growth.
Yeah, so invaluable. All right then.
Thank you very much.